Hello, Dorothy Fahn. I'm Sebastian Ochoa, and I have autism.
Okay.
We meet at last, aka, uh, oh yeah, Conan from Naruto.
Right on.
I've been waiting a long time to finally get in touch with you, just like my friend Chris Mayek did all these months ago.
That's right. I mean, it's not a contest, you know.
No, it's not a contest. It's just Chris Mayek's the whole reason why I want to interview more voice actors.
Oh, that's
Because
cool.
of what he did, he motivated me into getting in touch with more voice actors,
There you go.
including you and so many others I worked so hard to get in touch with. But
Awesome.
anyway, I have many questions I wanted
Sure.
to ask you.
I'm ready.
Tell me, how is it like being a voice actor in animation?
um, it's great. It's really fun. I will say that the term animation usually refers to original animation, like stuff that you see on Cartoon Network or whatever. Um, and that's when you go into a studio and there's nothing there but a script and a microphone and the other actors with their scripts and microphones. And you record your character and your lines and they animate to your voice. But in anime, which is English dubbing of Japanese content, the whole thing is already made. So you go in there and you've got a screen showing you the scene that you have to dub and match the flaps to, and acting and everything. So animation is actually easier than anime. Anime, you need to have that skill. You have to be able to watch the screen, read your lines, act, and hit the flaps that are already there.
I see.
Pretty
So
cool.
this is what makes you very, very good at all these things. And
Ah,
speaking of that,
yes.
there's just one most important question.
Yes.
How did you get into voice acting?
It was a complete accident. It was like, when was it? The 90s? It was the 90s, I
Yeah,
guess.
it is the 90s.
Yeah, and there was nothing practically. There was no anime on TV. There was no Toonami. There was no Adult Swim. There was nothing. Kimba and Speed Racer. That's all I knew of Japanese cartoons at that point. There was some out there, but nobody was really aware of it yet because it wasn't this huge thing that it would later become. So I was just an actress. I was a stage actress. I was trying to pursue commercials and whatever. And so I was doing that then. I was doing theater and chugging along. And by complete accident, a guy that my husband works with, Tom Fun, uh, the guy was asking Tom if he would be interested in doing voices for this Japanese cartoon that he somehow got in touch with. Ken Iadomi was the guy who was bringing some of the very early anime to America, but it wasn't even called anime yet. Here they called it Japanimation. Um, so uh, Victor, who was the guy, Victor Garcia, asked Tom if he wanted to, help him out with this project to do voice acting for it. And Tom, of course, said, yeah, all acting is good acting. We had no idea what we were getting into. And Victor also said, your wife's an actress too, right? Yeah, would she be interested? That's how I got into anime. At the very, very start, practically before it began in the United States, from that one guy saying, do you want to do this voice acting gig? And then after that, he was like, oh, there's another one. Oh, there's another one. Oh, and here's another company that are starting to do it. Do you want to do that too? Yeah, sure. And it just snowballed until now it's this huge thing.
I see. So this is how you got into voice acting.
Yeah.
Because of what it is you begin to experience from your husband, Tom Fenn, who, of course, Chris Mick interviewed him a few months ago. Well, actually, a few days ago, actually. Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
not long ago.
Yeah. But anyway, why do you like playing in animated shows?
Well, it's first of all, I started out as a stage actress, right? And I did a few commercials. And of course, when you're in a play or whatever, you have to go, you've got costumes and makeups. A lot often you got wigs too, and they're uncomfortable. And if you're doing a commercial too, you go to auditions and you have to be fully dressed to the nines, makeup to the nines, look perfect, for because you're going to be on camera. Animation is great. Anime is great because not only are you acting, pursuing the craft that you love, but you don't have to do that. You don't have to go through all that garbage. You just got to be comfortable. So I go in jeans and a t-shirt like I'm wearing right now, and you don't have to look like anything. You can look like yourself and play characters that you don't look like. If you're doing stage or on camera, you can only play characters that are your age and your type. In animation, you can play anything. I play young boys, I play teenage girls, I play a lot of moms and teachers and grandmothers. You just have such a great range that you can play if you're doing animation. It's awesome.
I see. So this is why you like being in a lot of animated shows, because of what it is you begin to experience, which leads me to a lot of questions about the thing that you told me about, the whole mothers and teenage girls and boys and a lot of characters you mentioned to me.
Yeah.
Here's one thing. In the game Fire Emblem, which characters do you prefer to play as? Renina or Mercedes?
Okay. I love Mercedes because she's kind of close to my heart. She's very sweet and caring and loving. And she has a very, very calm demeanor most of the time. And and I love playing a character that I can play a lot. It's good to get into a character and then be able to continue them on. Like if you're in an anime that has like 8 episodes and then it's done, it's kind of a bummer. You wish you could go on more, which is why I say I like Mercedes better because I got to do more with her. But the thing that I love about Renea is that she actually had a relationship with another character, with Berkut. And it would have been great if we could have gone on with that, if we could have had more of that relationship and see how that, how that story-wise ended up. But sadly, didn't happen.
I see. So this is what characters you've chosen upon. I begin to experience that. And by the way, speaking of 2 characters I mentioned,
Yes.
what is the biggest difference when playing Cyperion and Petal in Sailor Moon?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I had a problem with pronouncing those suckers too. It's Cyprin and Patillo. They told me
Hello.
you don't pronounce the final L. It's just Patillo.
Hello.
So I mean, there wasn't a huge difference between them. Cyprin was a little more aggressive and Patillo was a little sweeter. I mean, they were both evil. They're both, bad guys. But that was really the main difference because I think they were like split from, I think Cyprin split into 2, and that's how Patillo came along because there were only supposed to be 5 witches. And I think when she split, that made 6. Although I don't know if I'm actually remembering that correctly. But anyway, yeah, Cyprin was aggressive and Patillo was sweeter in their evilness.
I see. So that's the biggest difference about you being those characters. For what I can tell, you make a very good performance as those characters, along with Laura Post and yet again, and yes, of course, Stephanie Shi and Christina V, and yet again, Christine Mary Cabenos, and many varieties of voice actors that
Yeah.
were very awesome. Even you, of course, are also awesome.
Thanks. I mean, it would have been great to play one of the sailors, but they were already
Yeah.
cast by the time I came along.
Yes, of course. And speaking of the cares, how is it like playing Conan in Naruto Shippuden?
Conan is one of my favorite characters because at the time, she was very different from anything else I had ever played. She was much more grounded and serious and realistic. And up to that point, I had played a lot of goofy roles, kind of, I don't want to say ditzy, but yeah, some ditzy characters. And then she was really very different. In fact, I didn't audition for that part. they gave me that part because I was already working on Naruto. I was playing Mabui and like a couple little things here and there. And one day I went in and they said, Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, she was directing at the time. She said, I want you to play this part. And she showed me it. And I'm like, I don't know. I've never played a part like that before. I don't know if I can. And she said, I know you can. I hear your voice all the time. You can do this part. So I gave it a shot and I guess it was good enough. And there we go. It was great. I loved Conan.
I see. So this is why you liked playing that character. Because of what it is you begin to notice, thanks to your friend Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, of course, who I've been trying to get in touch with for the last few months.
Good
I
luck.
even tried emailing her about wanting to interview her like the rest of the people. And some of the actors even agreed to this.
Well, I will say this about that. She is really busy.
Yep.
Extremely
Especially
busy.
with her husband, Steve Bloom,
Oh,
which
yeah.
I noticed that and I respected that. But
Yeah.
anyway,
They're a power couple.
yes. But anyway, here's about this. This is from the fans of Miraculous Ladybug. But what is your favorite thing about being in Miraculous Ladybug as Miss Boyster?
Okay. Miss Bustier is another one of the teachers that I played. I play a lot of teachers and moms. I've played evil teachers too. That's different, fun but different. Miss Bustier, I love that she's just a good teacher and like a good person. She's usually only in like the beginning of an episode. Oh, hello, doggy. Hello, puppy.
Don't bother
But,
them.
yeah.
Keep going.
The only thing that's kind of a bummer is that I don't get to go on like all the adventures that the kids go on. But Miss Bustier got one good episode where she got akumatized and she was Zombie Zoo. Oh my god! And she had this great outfit with these like antenna thingies. It was really really fun. I love Miraculous Ladybug.
I see. So that's what makes you so good about playing that character. For what I can tell, every single Miraculous fans have been asking so many questions about wanting to see what will happen in season 4. If I'm not mistaken, though, I believe you're going to appear in the episode called Panel Team, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Well, we'll see.
Because all I know is that I've seen an Instagram post about your character appearing that I thought, boy, Dorothy Finn sure got into that episode. I can't wait to see her in this. If I hear her voice, I'll be like, that's my friend. That's Dorothy Finn, the one I interviewed with. And they'll be like, what? That's impossible. You're friends with her? I said, yep, all this time. So yeah, that's something the Miraculous fans wanted me to ask you this.
Excellent.
So, but anyway, speaking of the character you play as, what was the best part about playing Ki Kamado in Demon Slayer?
Okay. Kia Kamado is another mom character that I got to play. So, God, just thrilled to be in that show in any capacity. The best thing about playing her is that she actually came back in other episodes. I love playing moms. I love to be like the nurturing character, and but in the very first episode, I don't know if this is a spoiler.
This is no spoiler. I've already seen a lot.
Yeah. Well, but other people might not. Anyway, let's just say after the first episode, I didn't know if I was coming back at all. but I did in a few other episodes and in the movie. So that was great. In the movie, I got to have like a little evil scene of Kia Kamado. So that was kind of fun.
I see. So this is what makes you so good at playing that character. For what I can tell, Steve Sally, the voice cast director, he was very good at casting you in that show.
I love Steve Staley. We actually did a musical together years ago. So that was really fun.
Yeah. Which, of course, I'm going to be interviewing that guy next week on Saturday.
Wow, great.
Because
tell him I said hi.
Yes, of course. Because me and him became good friends through Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Since he's been seeing that I've been friends with Chris Mick for years. Well, actually, for months. So yeah. But anyway, I have this one question though.
Yes.
Which character that you have played in the past has been the most challenging to play and why?
Okay, I have a two-part answer for that. And people have asked me this before, like all of a sudden, no one ever asked me this, and then suddenly in the last few years, they've been asking me, "What's the most challenging role?" And I always say, because it probably is, Vampire Princess Miyu. I played Miyu in that, and she was a vampire, so the director's thought process was that she's a vampire, so she's actually dead. So they didn't want her to have a lot of emotion since she was dead. So I would go in and record the line, and she would say, "That's great. Let's take it one more time. Bring it down. She's dead." Okay, great. I would do it, and I would bring it down, and she would say, "Great take. I need you to bring it down some more." So once I finally got used to that process, I could get to the place that they wanted emotionally, but it was hard for me to not be big doing that role. So that was challenging. The opposite kind of challenge is one that's vocally stressful. Miyu was not vocally stressful, but probably the most vocally stressful role I ever did was in Digimon. I played a bunch of different characters in Digimon, but every now and then, even if you play a main role, they'll give you a character or a creature to play in some episode that's like a one-time once. So I played this character called Harpymon in one episode, and the screeches that I had to do, because it's a 2-hour session. 4-hour sessions are for games, 2 hours usually for anime, sometimes longer. But so 2 hours of screeching this character, and I lost my voice for a week. So that was challenging. As a voice actor, yes, you have to learn how to use your support and how to protect your voice and the, cough drops or whatever you use, tea in the booth. But sometimes you have to give it so much that you're gonna hurt yourself. So I try not to do roles like that very often.
I see. So that's what's been the most challenging for you
Mhm.
because of what it is you begin to notice about when you played in Digimon and you played that other character called
Harpymon.
Yes, that one. Exactly.
Yeah.
But anywho, tell me one question though. What do you like to do before voice acting?
You mean like my warm-up routine before I work?
Yes,
Oh,
that.
okay, yeah. That's pretty easy. I mean, you do vocal warm-ups and tongue twisters to get everything moving. One of the ones that I like is it's the consonants, the ta 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 ba 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 ta ta ga ga ga. It's like, that, and she sells and just all the other ones, and I'll just all this stuff, open everything up, get everything going, so that by the time you get to the job, you can do whatever it is. Because let me tell you, often they'll say, they'll send you an email, "I want you to play this part in this show that we're doing." Great, but you don't know what it is until you get there. So I have to warm up like from the bottom to the top of my voice, because I don't know what if I'm going to be playing a grandmother or a young kid or what. So, and then you get there and you find out, it's like, "Oh, okay, great. Yeah, I'm warmed up. Grab me some tea and let's go."
I see. So that's what you like to do before voice acting started.
Mhm.
But anyway, speaking of what you mentioned me, do you usually do all sorts of cool stuff after voice session is over?
Okay, here's the cool stuff I usually do after a voice session. I'll go to the post office. I might go to the bank. I might pick up groceries. I might drive through and get something to eat if I have another session I have to go to. But that's the coolness that I experience after a job. It's not very cool, but stuff has to get done.
I see. So that's the routine you did after the voice acting session.
Yes.
I begin to notice that. what is your favorite Olympian god in Greek mythology?
In Greek mythology?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Be-
Zeus?
hmm.
I
Oh,
don't
oh,
know. I
because
don't remember
there
that. I mean, that was a long time ago when I learned about Greek gods.
because there's an idea about making a show about the Greek gods. Because since I've read the stories about them, I thought to myself, why make it into books when I can actually make it into a full-time show, an animated show? And I
That would be
thought to
great.
myself, one of these days, when I finally make my show, I wanted to cast you and many others to be part of my project to make it look
Awesome.
perfect. And you know who you'll be perfect as?
Who?
One of the Greek goddesses, you know?
Okay. Like
The
Athena or Hera or one of those?
yes, Athena, yes,
Right
Athena.
on. Okay.
Using your Conan voice to make her sound
Oh,
perfected.
that'd be great.
Because
Great.
with that voice of yours, my show will be like a success. Whenever I finally make it, that's why when I finally get my chance to cast you and the others to my show. It was nice talking to you, my wonderful good friend Dorothy Finn.
Fun.
Fawn, I meant. And thank you for taking the time to speaking to me.
Sure.
And I really enjoyed talking to you, and I hope you have a great day.
I hope you have a great day too. And I look
Yes,
forward to this Greek god animated show.
of course. Oh, one more thing before you go.
Yes.
Or should I say two things? One,
Yes.
would you like to follow me on Instagram
Yes, sir.
since I've been friends with a lot of voice actors over the last few months, just like
I'll
Megan
follow
Hollingshead did?
you.
And second, would you tell your sister-in-law, Melissa Fenn, about our interview in case if I tag her along in our post together? That way she knows that she should be a part of it, just like you did, like the rest.
All right. Yes.
Very good. I'm glad you agreed to this. That's why you're one of my favorite actresses, along with the others.
Okay. Thank you.
It is what I do.
Okay. I'm going to go now.
Yeah,
Have a good one.
you too. And I'll see you on
Bye.
Instagram and Twitter. Bye bye.
Okay.